Camper. Thank you for joining us. My name is Taylor Connor, Director of Digital Content for UAlbany Athletics. With me today, we have Director of Athletics Mark Benson and Head Football Coach Greg Gattuso. We'll start off from statements from both, starting with Coach Gattuso. We'll hold all questions for after. When we get to the question portion, if you don't mind, just wait to be called on, and we'll go from there. So with that, Coach.
Well, thank you for coming. I'm going to do something I've never do. As you know, I like to shoot from the hip, but I'm going to read a little bit statement here. Appreciate my family being here today. It's an exciting day for me and my family. I'm happy to announce that I'll be heading back to my alma mater, Penn State, to work with Coach Franklin and his staff as a senior defensive analyst and defensive line coach. Everybody knows me, knows I love being part of a great defensive line, and they have one of the best in the country. The past 11 years have been some of the best years of my life. The Albany community welcomed me and my family with open arms. Everybody I have had the pleasure of working with has always treated me like family. Proud to have called Albany my home over that time. For those of you who know, my family is very established here, so even more proud to say Albany will always be my home for me. That will never change. You know, the amount of friends, and I feel like Trump here. I'm going off schedule here a little bit, so I apologize. But we have so many friends we've met in the years here, and there's so many people to thank. I can't, and that's why I think it's so important to do this. But from our neighbors in Malta to everywhere we've been, it's just been fantastic. So thank you to everybody. My man Emilio Genzano, I got to say a shout out to him as well. I'd like to thank President Javidon Rodriguez and Mark Benson for their full support and belief in me and the program. I also like to thank former President Robert Jones and former Athletic Director Lee McElroy for believing in me when they offered me the position of head football coach in 2013. Katie Abrahamson was special too in the process, so thank you to her. I'd also like to thank all my great staff that I've had the pleasure of working with over my time here, coordinators, coaches, assistants, everyone that's put their hands on this program. They were what made the program go on a daily basis. Simply put, without them and their accomplishment of this team would not have been possible. You look at the guys that have been through this program, there's head coaches, there's coordinators everywhere, there's guys at FBS. It's one of my great thrills is mentoring young coaches to help them move forward, and super proud of all those guys, and thank you to all of them. Most importantly, I'd like to thank the players that decided to put their trust in me in this program. They're the reason why I've always loved this job and all my coaching career. Their hard work propelled UAlbany football to new heights, and at the end of the day, it's what it's always been about to me. The players are special and most important to me. Finally, thanks to my family. It's difficult. Father, husband, football coach, it's tough on them. Right, Bruce? But they've been nothing but supportive, even putting up with the craziness that I'm getting ready to go through. So thank you, guys. It's an exciting chapter in my life. I'm fired up to go home, and this program is going to be in great hands moving forward. Turn it over to Mark.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, everyone, for being here. So, big day in our program's history. Coach Gattuso is our second full-time coach after Coach Ford. And, when I was reminded today was signing day, I didn't expect a press conference like this, but timing in life is what it is. So I really want to thank Greg. Although I didn't hire Greg, we entered our first season in 2014 together, and it's been a great 11 years. I want to thank Colleen and Jackie, Katie, Bruce, the rest of the family. Bruce got 2 shout-outs. Just really, Gattuso family's been very supportive of everything we've tried to do here at UAlbany Athletics, including purple and gold crazy stockings and fingernails by Colleen. So they were all in throughout the whole time. So, it's appropriate we're here in Casey Stadium. When Greg started and I started, we were year 2 of the transition into the CAA, which is, well known to be one of the toughest top-to-bottom conferences. And we sat in this very space and talked to recruits and anyone that would listen that, the goal was if you could win a CAA championship, you have a shot and you're in the conversation, for a national championship. And so it was great to see that come to fruition in 2023, and a lot of great highlights along the way, and a lot of hard work that went into that. Along the way, one of the charges was to help, build a fan base, and I feel like we have great fans here at UAlbany that have come out in support of our football program, our other programs, and filled Casey Stadium, and it's, I think, a very vibrant game day experience. The tailgating has really taken on, and everything that goes along with what happens on the field, and Greg's been a big part of that. I think about a lot of the highlights along the way. Coach Gattuso brought us 2 of the 3 FCS playoff appearances in the history of our program, and thanks to Coach Ford for the other one. First FBS win in program history over Buffalo. Highest national ranking that we've ever attained. Number 5 seed, highest seed ever in the FCS playoffs. 2-time CAA Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year by the AFCA and the Walter Camp Foundation's inaugural award winner. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the 6 Golden Apple titles. And those of you know what the Golden Apple game is out on Long Island will appreciate that fact, and it's been great. It's funny because I think Coach kind of laughed at me when the idea first came up of a traveling apple for our rivalry with Stony Brook, but it's been great to see both programs and both teams kind of embrace it and what it means for that. And then, obviously the players that he's coached, the talent that he's discovered, You look at Jared Verse, who came in here. I'm not sure if he had one offer, but it wasn't that many.
One us.
And so obviously, and you can go through many walk-ons that have come here, were discovered, gone on to win a scholarship, earn a scholarship, and they do great things, CA Players of the Year and beyond. There's many examples of that. So a great eye for talent, he and his staff, as well as developing them. And I think when I think about the 11 years, I really go back to my first game, our first game together. We're playing Holy Cross. By all rights, we should lose this game, unfortunately. I don't know how much time was left. Jay Geiger, our athletic trainer, reminded me earlier. 42 seconds. They have to run the clock out. It's my very first game, my first time as an AD, so I'm on the opposite ends of thinking to myself, what am I going to say to Coach Gattuso to try to console him after this loss that we're going to take. And I had my back to the play, and all of a sudden it sounded like a car accident. And I turned around, and unfortunately their player was on the field and the ball was loose. And our guy scooped it up.
Neil Morrison.
See, there's good details. And I'm watching the entire sideline. Every Great Dane, every coach is running at me. And I knew they were that excited that it was my first game. But we returned that fumble for a touchdown. And little did I know then, I think you could take a lot of that moment and apply it to every team that's been here. Coaches' teams never quit. They play to the very last play. There's plenty of examples that you can go to on seasons when we have a little tougher time to the national semifinals. It's a hallmark that always stick together, always play to the last play. And that's, I think, what I will take away is just that sense that he has gotten his players to play for him and his staff, to fight to the bitter end, and to take us as many great heights. And I think that spirit is going to carry on, has us poised for success moving forward. And I just want to thank Greg for all he's done. So thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Move on to questions. If you have a question, just give my attention. We'll start off with Adam.
Greg, how did this process develop? What was the timeline like? And obviously, how much was it an opportunity to be able to go to a place that obviously is a football home for you?
Yeah, Coach was. I've always, he's always been great to me. We've kept in touch over the years, and this opportunity came up he was looking for a veteran defensive line guy to come in and work with their defensive line. They have a great young coach, Dion Barnes, and I actually recruited Dion back when he was in high school. So it just kind of happened, out of the blue. And Jordan Orlovsky, I think, said it best. One of my coaches, when I talked to those guys yesterday, he said, "Coach, you've always said that if you would never leave Albany unless it was for Penn State."
Questions? Jackson?
So just how would you break the news to your players, and what was their reaction to
It was really good. They were great. They were great. It was emotional, obviously, but they were great. We have great kids, so it's always hard, very difficult.
When you do look back, on your time here, what are some of the things that you think that you'll remember the most about your tenure here?
Just the kids, the people involved. I think we had our ups and downs. I think that's kind of football in the CAA, and at the end of the day, it's always been about the kids for me. To see them, just like Verse and Anton at Arkansas and Elijah at Wisconsin. It's kind of fun to see those guys do great things as they've come through our program. But it's just as important to me to see guys like Jack Dazinski that's really successful in business now, and Griffin Clancy, the local guy, is doing great, and Nick Ketter. And I could go through the list of the guys and the success. We as a family kind of, we love that. Keep in touch, stay, watch what they do. And it's what happens when you recruit quality kids to a quality institution, and they can be successful in life.
Greg, how much of this decision also, how much, with the transfer portal and kind of the way that the game has gone wild in that aspect where, one season, you're playing in the national semifinal and then the next, it's like just constantly having to kind of blow it up and then, start from scratch and kind of doing that. How much of that kind of played into this event, if anything?
Not at all. We literally, you got to play by the rules in life and everything. So, I don't love it, but I think we've operated really well in it by drawing great talent. But this is about going to Penn State. It's nothing more than, I love it here.
How do you hope to be remembered by UAlbany athletics and UAlbany football?
I hope they put my picture on the wall like Coach Ford. I'll be happy with that.
You
But
got to wear the hat if you do that.
I'll get a hat. You should see. My wife has a bunch I could borrow. I don't really worry about that stuff, to be honest. I plan on, my kids live here. We're going to be in the community. I'm the Great Dane. Whatever. Mark's nice to me. It'll be great.
6 new season ticket holders at least.
Yeah.
Go back down.
Mark, you mentioned, obviously, Greg, started just before you were hired, so this now becomes your first head football coach hire. What's the process like for you guys as you start to move forward now?
Yeah, I think most importantly for the right here and now is just to sort of honor Coach and all that he and his staff have done moving forward. But as I mentioned, he's really poised us for success, and we're going to move forward. I think trying to keep as much of this entire team together as possible is really important. Continuity, I think, is usually a good thing, and give ourselves the best chance to compete in the spring and in the fall, and we'll get into that process shortly.
Yeah, so you mentioned continuity with, without naming names, would there be, certain members of the staff that,
Yeah, I think more to come. We've had discussions with the team and with the staff, and we'll have more information that will come shortly. But again, just kind of taking the moment. Spring ball's still, I don't know, a couple of weeks off.
Oh, yeah, it's
and
April 2nd.
we'll have more to come shortly on identifying the details of that. But just really want to focus right now and on Coach and all he's been able to do here.
Jackson.
For you, Coach, would you like to see someone on your staff get moved up with this change?
I think that's always everybody's dream, is that there's some consistency in it. When I came here, I had called Coach Ford just a little bit before we talked to the team and thanked him what his support was like for me when I took over, which could have been tough, but he's a legend. He is Albany football, and I think for me, I'm going to support whoever the head coach is. Of course, we'd love it to be somebody internal or a former Great Dane, but at the end of the day, we have a great administration, and they're going to do what's best for the program and the kids, and moving forward. And I'm going to be a supporter no matter what.
Greg, Mark touched on it in his statement about your guys always fighting to the end. How much more special does it even make it? The way that you guys battle back to cap off your tenure here, and how did they come back winning?
Yeah, it was. It's just what you preach. When you walk in at halftime, 28-6, and got your butt kicked. It's but it's just part of. We preach great teammates here, being great people, but great teammates, and help each other. And that group of kids rallied and came out and just played fantastic in the second half. And kids from all over the realm, we're making plays, you know. I mean, I still remember Nick Totten, who's walked on here, it's starting to earn money, and him making the big interception and running it in. But there's been a lot of situations like that where we've struggled. Stony Brook the year with the walk-off field goal in the last game of the year. So it's our culture to keep playing and keep supporting each other. I expected to win that game coming out at halftime.
Greg, you mentioned the conversation you had with Coach Ford. What was that like, and what's it like, you know, now reflecting as being part of a legacy where you're, you know, leaving a program that's had 2 coaches in, you know, 50-plus years?
Well, I knew I wasn't going to be 44 years, so I knew that was going to be, you know, no question. I wasn't going to catch him, you know. But no, he's great. We go to breakfast now and then and spend some time. He always, I can remember very vividly on my interview day that I had lunch with him, and you know, he talked a lot about a lot of things, but he told me, I am never going to stand in the way. I'm going to support you, and he did. I mean, he's a man of his word. He's been great, and it's been kind of cool knowing him. And I think, you know, he got that amazing award this year, which I think was spectacular. And if you only knew, you don't understand how many people are in the NFL, in Division I football, all over the place that have come through this program. And we try to uphold that tradition because we've had great success with our assistant coaches as well. But Coach Ford always did it right, and he's been awesome.
Greg, obviously you touched on, you know, how special Penn State is to you throughout, but, you know, to play there and, you know, start your coaching career, and then, you know, here we are, you know, going back there, a full circle moment. Just how special is that opportunity?
Yeah, it's 2 alma maters I've gotten to play at and coach at. I did it at my high school, and probably still the best 3 years of our lives, you know. But it's very special. You know, I can't wait to get there.
Jackson?
Do you see Penn State as your final stop in your coaching career?
Oh, I sure hope so. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's. I mean, I would have kept coaching here and retired and went on with whatever direction it came. But it's just a really cool thing, you know. I mean, to go there and, you know, in the process of I got friends there. I got 2 guys that coach with me at Duquesne on the staff, you know. So it's I know people. You know, it's funny. You know, their director or their chief of staff called me and said they were doing some paperwork today and to get through this, and he said the person he was dealing with was like, "Is this my guy Greg Gattuso from '83?" And he was like, "Yeah, it is." So they never really forget you.
You said you let your staff know yesterday. Was the players yesterday or today?
We did the players today. You know, it was the coaches. You know, I talked to my coordinators. You know, we have a transparency thing here, and I talked to Mark when the process was going on a little bit. I talked to a couple of my coordinators. I was able to talk to the coaches more, you know, in the last day or 2. They're a special group. It's tough, you know, but I'm confident, and I'll, you know, as I told them, I will always be there to help them out, and like I have all my coaches. And it's tough, you know. It's tough when the head coach goes. You know, it's a major disruption and. In a lot of ways, but you know, they're tough. They're going to do great. They're very high quality talent, and you know, I'm obviously at their beck and call through this process.
When's your first day?
Monday. Coach Franklin, you know, when I talked to Coach when I accepted the job, he said he just said sooner rather than later, but do what you got to do. And you know, we kind of agreed I'd be here from the birth of my granddaughter. So, thank you.
Final questions? Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate. Hey, it's been great. The relationship with the media has always been awesome. Appreciate you guys, and treat the next coach well, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.